My name is Heather O'Day, and I'm the music director here at the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living. We are here this morning again at this beautiful oasis on this gorgeous day. So now I want to invite all of you to focus, and let's get ready to hear the words of Rev Donna and of our trustee and of our practitioner today.
Good morning. My name is Bob Schaefer, and on behalf of Reverend Donna Maurer and the Board of Trustees, I'm privileged to welcome you to the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual path, you are truly welcome here. Here you will be validated, supported, and encouraged to be all you are meant to be. Our vision statement is love in action, every day, in every way. And we express this love by learning and living the principles of the science of mind. And on the back, they're printed on the back of the program. If you would join me, please, in reading them. I believe there is an infinite intelligence operating throughout the universe. I believe this intelligent power is only good. I believe this intelligence expresses as me. I believe through my conscious use of this power, I create my life as happy, healthy, and complete. And so it is. Turn off cell phones, things like that. And let's sit back and enjoy the service. Thank you.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place.
My name is Judy Robertson, and I'm the practitioner today.
Hey, Judy.
If you would care to take a deep breath and relax, close your eyes if you wish while I do the invocation. I allow myself to simply be. I breathe in, I breathe out, and I know that God is breathing with me in the stillness of this very moment. Now let us joyfully lean into God and let us know that we are guided, protected, and all of our needs are always met. Wholeness and the perfection of life expresses in us as beauty, abundance, and the fulfillment of our highest good. And so it is. And now, I'd like to read to you. This is a paper I wrote when I was a practitioner, and I found it recently, and I want to share it with you. It's called, What Do I Believe About God and My Relationship to God? I believe God is pure divine energy. This energy encompasses and it flows throughout all life. God is unconditional love, and God judges nothing. God allows all life to just be. And I am a thought in the mind of God, made manifest into a form that represents God here upon this earth. I know that all things are possible if you believe and have no doubt. There is no limit to what can be made manifest. And my function in the universe, it's one of a peacekeeper. I believe where others choose to see chaos and experience it, I'm able to look past that turmoil. I know the truth, which is God is all there is. All loving and peaceful thoughts go out into the universe. They're all shared by the sonship. The universal mind of God connects the whole of life. They're all woven in the divine tapestry, which is the oneness. There's no separation. In reality, it never did occur. And God, the maker of all things, cast his omniscience through me over things. There is no wall of separation where I, the effect, cease, and God, the cause, begins. Now, how could I not see beauty everywhere? When you look through the vision of Christ, everything is magnificent. It's all been created by the Master Creator. I share the beauty by being positive and being of service. From within there is a light, and I let it shine out on all, for I know that it is all, for it is the light of God that shines forever throughout the universe. Namaste.
There is a light that shines in every one of us. There is a light that shines in every one of us. That light is God, that light is love, that light is spirit. There is a light that shines in every one of us. There is a light that shines in every one of us. That light is God, that light is love, that light is spirit. That light is God, that light is love, and that light is spirit.
Well, it is nice that we get to meet here again, and I know Bob's already thanked the people who've helped set up, but I also want to thank Tia and Getchell, who own this property, who are allowing us to do this, and they are charging us absolutely nothing. So we are very blessed to have this space to meet while the weather holds. Well, our theme for the month is stories that touch the heart. And you know, all of us are touched by stories that have meaning for us, whether it's, you know, Judy just said that she went to see E.T. at the movies, and that's a story that touches our heart. And sometimes these stories are just simply fairy tales or fables that have a moral message for us. But there's also a series of stories that are under the heading of what Joseph Campbell calls the monomyth. And it is the hero's journey that has components in every culture. They're all certain elements are similar all along. And while there may be a need to slay a dragon or pursue a goal or find a boon, we find that the ultimate reward of the hero is his or her own self-transformation. And it is the transformed self that is the true reward that the hero brings back to his world. You know, we can see this in The Wizard of Oz. While Dorothy's goal is to get back to Kansas to Auntie Em and Uncle Henry and her farm in Kansas, her journey to Munchkin Land and the Emerald City have changed her. So when she returns, she is not the same. She's been transformed by the encounters with her mentor, the Good Witch Glinda, her allies, Scarecrow, Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion, and her adversary, the Wicked Witch of the West. And last week we told the story of Skeleton Woman, and that has some of the same elements, because the fisherman, as part of his hero's journey, must go into uncharted territory. And that's part of the hero's journey, going into something new and different. And he brings up what he thinks is a huge fish. That's his boon that he thinks he's won. But he finds out that the real boon is Skeleton Woman, who becomes the catalyst for his own transformation. So our topic today, and it's another little story, it's called Aren't I the Lucky One? And the heroine in our story does not experience a transformation. But I think, nevertheless, it's part of that mythic journey from a little different perspective. So I've told it before. It's a very old fairy tale called The Headley Coe, and it's part of Northumbrian English folklore, and particular to the village known as Headley, or Headley on the Hill. The Headley Coe, spelled K-O-W, is a mischievous gremlin who is also a shapeshifter. Once upon a time, there was an old woman who lived on the edge of a forest. She earned her living by doing errands and odd jobs for the nearby farmers and villagers. She usually had only enough money to buy bread and cheese for her supper, but she was a cheerful soul without a care in the world. Every day she would get up early to gather pine cones and branches for her evening fire, and then she would set out to look for work. Her cottage was old, sparsely furnished, but comfortable, and the old woman was completely contented with her life. The farmers' wives made sure the old woman was on her way home long before dark, because after nightfall, the Headley Coe was known to haunt the roads. All of the villagers were afraid of him. He could change his shape and frighten people out of their wits, and he liked to chase them home and trick them with annoying pranks. One summer evening, as dusk approached, the old woman was still on the road, hastening toward home. On the side of the road, she saw a big black pot. She wondered who would leave such a fine pot on the road, so she went over to examine it. Maybe it has a hole in it and someone threw it out, but I could find a use for it for myself, she said as she looked inside. "Oh, glory," she exclaimed when she peered into the pot. "It is filled with gold coins." For a while she stood and gazed at her find, admiring the sparkle and shine of her treasure. "Oh, aren't I the lucky one?" she said to herself, and she pulled at the pot to see how heavy it was. She decided the only way she could manage to get such a heavy load home was to tie one end of her shawl to it and drag it along the road. I can think about what to do with my fortune all night long, she thought as she pulled and tugged the pot along. I could buy a brand new house, or I could keep some gold coins on the mantle, or I could bury the treasure at the foot of the garden. By this time, the old one was growing tired from dragging the pot, so she stopped to take a rest. When she peeked into the pot to look at her treasure, she found no gold. In its place was a shining lump of silver. In disbelief, she checked the pot again, but there was still a lump of silver inside. Well, I could have sworn there was gold in this pot when I found it, but I must have been dreaming. Well, perhaps this is better anyway. Gold pieces are hard to keep safe. This will be easier to keep, and I'm still a rich woman. Oh, but aren't I the lucky one? So the old woman continued her trudge homeward, cheerfully thinking of all the things that she could do with her fine lump of silver. And before long, she tired again from dragging the heavy pot, so she stopped to rest. And once again, she checked inside the pot to look at her treasure. This time she was astonished to find that the silver was gone, and in its place was a lump of lead. "Mercy me," the old woman exclaimed. After a moment's thought, she said to herself, "Well, this is a convenient turn of events. I will have no trouble selling this lead, and I will have a lot of pennies for it. Now I won't stay awake nights worrying about being robbed of my gold or silver. Oh, but aren't I the lucky one?" The old woman continued her slow journey along the road, dragging the pot behind her and chuckling over her good luck, and soon she stopped to rest again. And this time, when she checked the pot, she found that the lump of lead had vanished, and in its place was a large stone. My, the old woman explained. After a moment, she said to herself, "This indeed is a piece of luck. This is just the size stone I've been looking for to keep my door open while I bring in the wood for my fire. Oh, but aren't I the lucky one?" So she dragged her pot down the road, thinking about how well her stone would work as a doorstop. And when she finally reached her cottage, she bent her stiff back to pick up the stone, when all of a sudden, the stone gave a squeal. Arms and legs and large ears appeared as a creature emerged, laughing and pointing his finger, making ugly faces at her as he danced around the small room. The old woman stared at the creature in amazement. Well, she exclaimed, "if I'm not the luckiest old woman. Imagine the Headley Co. in my own house." The little man stopped short. "Do you mean to tell me that you are not afraid of me?" he asked. "Of course not. Why should I be afraid of you?" the old woman replied. "You are a rare sight to see, and besides, you have done me no harm." The little man turned around dejectedly, scratching his white beard as he walked out the door. Now the old woman called to him, "I don't have much, but you are welcome to share some bread and cheese and a cup of good hot tea if you would like to join me for supper." As the two sat down to eat, the little bit of cheese became a fine large block, and fresh fruit and a loaf of sweet brown bread appeared. The two shared a cheerful meal, and after they had eaten their fill, they sat comfortably by the fire. The Headley Co. entertained the old woman with stories of his pranks and adventures until tears ran down her cheeks. "I have never had such a fine evening as this has been," she said. After that, the Headley Co. and the old woman became good friends. He came to join her for supper and to visit quite often, and the old woman found that her woodpile was always stocked and her cupboard was never empty. Yeah, I love the woman in this story because she was able to see the gifts in what others would call disappointment. And where others feared and shunned the Headley Co., the old woman invited him in, and she found the ultimate gift, friendship with a power that would sustain her for all time. So if you look at it, the story does not have a transformational quality to it. The old woman is always the same. She takes each experience as a gift in the present moment. In his book, Oriental Mythology, Joseph Campbell traces the beginning of Eastern religions and the ultimate split into Eastern and Western philosophies, or the difference between Oriental and Occidental religious concepts. My mentor, Reverend Dr. Arthur Chang, called these differences the way of relaxation and the way of excitation. When we think of the Eastern philosophies of Taoism, Hinduism, and Buddhism, we can see that they each call for meditation, for going with the flow, for accepting the present moment as it is. And that's the way of relaxation. When we think of Western philosophies, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, we think of action, God or Allah with us, guiding us as we take action in our lives. In the Western ideology, we believe that we do not have to accept the world or our circumstances as they are. We have within us the power to change. And that's the way of excitation. Both of these paths really are valuable and important. And our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, intuited this. And as a result, he blended both the Eastern path of relaxation and the Western path of excitation to form the basis of our spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. There are 5 steps to affirmative prayer. I'm not going to go through them all, but the first 2 steps begin with meditation. We align ourselves with spirit. What is God? I am that. So with spirit, with the flow of universal energy, and that is the path of relaxation. Then we use affirmative action statements to assist us in making adjustments to our thinking so that our experiences will manifest those adjustments in thinking, and that's the path of excitation. The story of Skeleton Woman is a story of our spiritual maturation from the viewpoint of excitation. There are action steps that the fisherman took that ultimately led to his transformation. The old woman who becomes friends with Hedley Koh is a lesson in relaxation. Like the Buddhist practice of detachment as an end to suffering, she is delighted with each change, sees each as a gift without expectation or attachment. So I wonder how you and I would feel if our pot of gold turned to silver and then coal and then a stone. I mean, most of us would be pretty angry about all of that. But because the old woman had the ability to take each thing at the present moment as a gift, her life became an endless gift. Hedley Koh, who kept her cupboards full and her woodpile stocked, is really the consciousness that the old woman held as she saw the good in all things and then drew that good to her. So when you and I can stay in the present moment, appreciating its gift, then our consciousness automatically draws that good to us as well. So whether our personal hero's journey follows the spiritual path of excitation or the spiritual path of relaxation, what we receive in either situation is a life well lived. And that then becomes what we give back to the world in our own unique and very precious way. And like the old woman, we too can say, oh, but aren't I the lucky one? Thank you. Namaste.
I am so lucky and I'm loved. I am so lucky and I'm loved. I am so lucky and I'm loved. I'm surrounded by the love of spirit. I know the truth of who I am. I live with passion every day. I can be free from action every way. I'm so lucky and I'm loved. I'm so lucky and I'm loved. I'm so lucky and I'm loved. I'm surrounded by the love of Spirit. I am the force and joy is my source. I am willing and worthy to be all I can be. I'm the expression of creation on earth, and I am love in action every way. I am so lucky and I'm loved. I am so lucky and I'm loved. I am so lucky and I'm loved. I'm surrounded by the love of Spirit. Everywhere I look, there is magic to behold. Everywhere I go, there's the rainbows, and everywhere I turn, I feel the breath of heaven telling me it's gonna be okay, okay. I'm so lucky and I'm loved. I am so lucky and I'm loved. I am so lucky and I'm loved. I'm surrounded by the love of Spirit. I'm surrounded by the love of Spirit. I'm surrounded by the love of Spirit. Thank you. Namaste.
I just feel so blessed to it's a little bit cooler, so it feels good to be here, doesn't it? Okay, let's just close this portion out in prayer and just know that indeed we are blessed to have created this spiritual family, this spiritual home. And I know that there is one mind, one life. It is the mind of God. It is the life of God. It is the mind that I'm using. It is the life that I'm living as God lives through me and through each one of us. So we take a moment to give thanks for the blessings in our life. And we take a moment to speak our word for anyone who's experiencing any kind of a challenge, and to know that right where that challenge is the healing power of God. So I take a moment simply to know, with all the world, and with Judy's words this morning, God is all there is, and we are that. As together we say, and so it is. Thank you so very much.